stop hiding behind the term realistic. Realistic is it's great and all, right? I mean, when we're realistic, it keeps us safe. But when we stay in the realistic sense, we stop ourselves from doing unimaginable things, things that you don't see people doing every day. And when you constantly hide behind the term realistic, you are just naturally holding yourself back from what you really want to do in life. So I can give you an example. If you want to start social media, right? Well, you would say that it's realistic to not be successful at it because most people, if we're being honest, realistically don't make it in social media. So this would convince you that it's not worth your time, it's not worth going after because it isn't realistic and the outcome could possibly never happen, right? But I feel like when you look further into realistic, right? Your realistic cases, like it's unrealistic to get this job, it's unrealistic to get that. But at the same time, it's only unrealistic because most people don't do the things that you are willing to do. Most people aren't willing to post consistently. Most people aren't willing to put effort in. Most people aren't willing to even start or take action. Most people aren't willing to change their lifestyle to fit the goals that they want to do in life. Most people aren't willing to do that. So if you do, I'm not saying that if you do different from everyone else that that's somehow just gonna make you successful. I'm not saying that, but at the same sense, when you do different things, you get different outcomes. So if most of the population, if all they do is just sit there and scroll and they have no trajectory in their life or anything, they're not going anywhere, does that mean that it's unrealistic for me to chase my goals? I mean, if you're comparing me to the most of the population, sure, then yes, it'd be unrealistic for me to get the goal or the life that I want, right? But if you break away from the word realistic, if you break away from that term and maybe replace it with something like it's possible, then you might just instill a little bit of hope that it could happen. Yes, is there a higher chance that maybe it doesn't work out? Yes, because you're comparing yourself to other people who did it and didn't try, didn't stay consistent in anything, and they gave up. That's what you're comparing yourself to. So you just have to understand that. And yes, I'm not saying to completely run away from the term realistic. Obviously, there are some things out there where it's just like, yeah, the chances of you doing that is almost slim to none, like winning the lottery. The chances of you going to your gas station, grabbing a Powerball ticket, and filling that out and winning is slim to none, right? It's unrealistic. But people will throw around the term realistic for anything. If you want to start a business, people will say it's unrealistic. That's not something that most people do. So that's why it's unrealistic, because you don't see it often. Like I said, social media, they say it's unrealistic, but at the same sense though, just about everybody has a phone. All you have to do is just record on your phone and post. And people aren't willing to do it because they're scared of what, other people might think, what their friends are going to think, what their family is going to think about who they are as a person because they're displaying this online, right? So that's what makes social media unrealistic, because people can't handle that what do you call it, that dread, I guess, from other people's opinions, especially people that are close with them, like their family and all that. But you just got to ultimately ask yourself, like, what do you want out of life? Like, what is your goal? If you have a purpose, what's your purpose? What do you think your purpose is? You might not know it now, but when you look 10, 20 years down the line, what life do you want to see? And the answer is, not everyone wants the $1 million, house and the $100,000 cars and all that. Not everybody wants that. Some people just simply want to make enough so that they can have a nice little place and travel the world. If that's your purpose, then go for it. But if your purpose is to have generational wealth or whatever it is, then I say go for it. But if you sit there and hide behind the term unrealistic or realistic, you get my point. If you hide behind this term and use it as a way to just deflect your reasoning for trying, then what are you actually even doing? You're just settling for what's easy. That's all you're doing. And if you're being honest with yourself, the easy way is the hard way. The easy way is living the life that you hate, because everybody could do that. But it's also the hardest way, because No one wants to do that. So you just got to ask yourself, well, what is worth the effort? If this is my goal, if this is the thing I really want out of life, then is it worth the extra effort? And I say, if you're a logical person, you would say yes. This is something I want in my life. This is something I want to do, and this is what I am going to do. I'm at least going to try to see what happens. Maybe just experiment a little bit. But when you hide behind the word realistic, you're just making excuses for yourself to not try. That's all it is. Yes, sure, there are some things that, it isn't realistic to do this. It's unrealistic to do that. And that you're right. But in the same sense, you also have to ask yourself, why is it unrealistic? Why is it not realistic to do these things? And like I said before, it's because you're comparing it to what most people who did that, what happened, and that is, when you look at it that way, instead of just saying, oh yeah, it's not realistic to do this, oh yeah, it's unrealistic to do that, oh, what do my parents think, oh, what do my family think, what are these people going to think, oh, but what happens if this happens, what happens if that happens, but what happens if you don't do it, what happens if you never try? Then you're going to live your life full of regret. There's always going to be that thing behind, like, itching at the back of your brain, asking, what if I would have just actually took the time, took the effort out of my day to just put into this thing that I've always wanted to do? Would my life look completely different? And I'm telling you right now, it's better to get rejected than live with regret, right? It's better to go after that goal and it not work out and at least get your answer than it is to just negate it entirely and not take action and then just live your life, the easy way, have the jobs you hate, don't even live to what you want to do, don't have fun with your life, because people will say anything is unrealistic because they don't want to try at it. They want to do what's easy, and that's what holds you back. So when you're sitting there asking yourself, yeah, well, what if this is realistic? Who cares if it's realistic? Somebody did it, so that means it's possible. So you just got to ask yourself, how bad do you really want this thing? How bad do you want this to work out? And where do you want to see your life in 10, 15 years or 5 years or 1 year or, whatever? Where do you want to see your life at that point? Because I'm telling you right now, if you don't chase after your goal, your passion, your purpose, whatever it is that you want to go after, if you don't chase and try, then you're always going to wonder, what would have happened if I actually just took, action? What if I just took the time out of my day to do this thing for maybe a year or whatever, and then see where it went? And most people are not even willing to do that. They would rather just go the easy way, hate their lives. And I don't think that's right, but hey, you're going to do what you want to do. If you don't think it's worth it, then don't do it. But if there's something in your gut telling you that you should probably give it some effort and try, then I say do it. Because, like, if you fail, who cares? And if people make fun of you for failing, it's like, at least you took action. They didn't. Look at their lives. They're probably miserable. So who cares? Like, realistically, who cares what they have to say? Who cares about what anybody has to say? It doesn't matter who they are. If it's your parents or whatever, who cares? Because it's your life. So why do they feel the need to, kind of like intrude on you on what you want to do with your life? Like, what's the point? Okay, you want the best for them? Great. Let them do what they want to do. You holding them back is just going to make them hate you more. So stop hiding behind the term realistic. Yes, it is a good thing to think about what are the chances that this could happen? What are the chances that these could happen? If it doesn't work out, then what would happen if this happened? That kind of thing. But you can ask yourself, is it realistic? And tell yourself yes or no. But don't let that be the sole reason why you don't do it. Don't just be like, oh, it's not realistic, so what's the point in trying? If you want to do that thing really bad, if you want to see a future in it, then go after it and give it a shot. But if you don't put up any shots, how do you expect to score? Like, seriously, if you don't put any shots up, how do you expect to score whatsoever? You're not going to, because you're already giving up. So stop hiding behind the term realistic. Stop hiding behind the term unrealistic. It's great to think about these things. It's great to think about what are the possible outcomes of things happening, right? But don't let that be the reason that you stop yourself from doing what you really want to do. Don't let that be the reason why you completely give up on your passion, your purpose, your goal, and live your life full of misery. So, I mean, yeah, it's a little bit dramatic, I guess, but in the same sense, it's also kind of true. It's like, how many people are out there that really wish they would have done a certain thing and they never did? And then by the time they're 60, that's all they think about. What would have happened if 50 years ago, 40 years ago, I just took the chance and just did the thing I wanted to do? And I guess I'm just telling you, just don't be that guy, uh, don't be that guy, and chase your purpose, chase your goals, do what you want to do, get what you want out of life, at least try. And if you don't succeed, then maybe that wasn't the thing for you, or maybe it's just an obstacle you have to get over, and you just keep trying. But ultimately, you have to at least try once to see what happens. So I say go for it. Don't care. Stop caring about what other people think so much, because that's the main reason why people don't even chase what they want to. And go after your goals, chase them, and I wish the best for you. And look at this painting. Yeah, look at that. My grandpa did that. It's kind of random, but yeah. So I wish the best for you. Stop hiding behind the term realistic. Go for your goals, go for your purpose, go for your passion. And life isn't too short to make a change.